Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Programming with the Purpose. In this video, I am going to discuss the gestures that are used inside SwiftUI to perform different tapping functionalities. For that, I have created a project with the name of Explore Tap Gestures. I'm going to create different views for each of the type of gesture. So first we are going to handle here basically the tap gesture. For that, I'm going to first create a view which will contain a circle of a certain frame width and height. And then I'm going to pass this TapGesture view inside the content view so that we'll be able to see that how the UI is being built up inside the preview on the right hand side. Now here I'm adding the foreground color, which is yellow, to our circle, and then I'm going to add the on tab gesture, what we are going to do inside the tab gesture. Here I'm adding a property here with the name of isTabbed, which is bool and set to false initially. So this is tabbed variable is going to be toggled inside the on tab gesture, and accordingly the foreground color of the circle will be changed. So now I'm going to run the code inside the simulator. You cannot test the tapping gestures inside your preview. So when I'm going to click it, it is going to change color and then move back to yellow. So this is the functionality that we have added inside the on tab gesture. Here I'm setting the count to 2. Which means that if it is double tapped, then it is going to change the color. If there is too much of the time distance between the tapping, nothing is going to change. So you have to tap it quickly. So when you are going to tap it quickly, the double tap is going to change the color in the case of setting the count to 2. Now the next is basically a struct which is going to basically display you how long press gesture is going to be handled. So I'm passing the long gesture view inside the content view, and here I'm going to create the body in which I'm going to add the rounded rectangle of a certain corner radius. Here I'm setting the size of this rounded rectangle by setting the frame width and height. And next I'm setting a foreground color to yellow. Now I'm copying here the property of is tapped from our tab gesture view inside the long press gesture view. And I'm adding here a rotation effect. So basically on the long press gesture, we are going to add a rotation effect, which means that if is tabbed is true, we are going to rotate this rectangle at 45 degrees. Otherwise, it will remain as it's displayed in the preview with 0 rotation. So on long press gesture, is tabbed is going to be toggled. So now you can see here that when I have pressed the rectangle for a long time, its angle is changed, and now I'm setting here a minimum duration. Now if the duration is less than 2, it is not going to be rotated. So for that you need to keep it pressed for 2 seconds to basically this long press gesture to work. So this is how long press gesture is going to be added inside a view. Now the third view gesture view we are going to create is the drag gesture view, which is going to display you how the drag gesture can be added. So here I'm going to add an image which I have added inside my assets folder. And here I'm setting its size, resizable scale to fit with the frame width to reduce its size on the screen. And here I'm setting an offset. Offset is going to be basically a position. So at which position we want to move our cool emoji image. So first, this is the default position which we have set inside the default value on line number 43. Now here I'm going to add a gesture. So you can add a gesture with this property dot gesture. And here I'm passing the drag gesture, and I'm adding some of the events here. So the first event is on changed, which means that when the object is being dragged, what we are going to do with the value. So I am passing that value dot translation inside my position variable, and on ended what we are going to do. So on ended, we are going to basically move our value to our default value, which means that the position will be moved to dot zero. So now let's play the code, and I'm going to show you on the simulator that how it's going to work. So whenever we are dragging, it is being dragged along with the our finger or mouse pointer in this case of a simulator, and it moves back to zero whenever we stop the drag operation. Now magnify gesture view. This is going to basically scale up and down a view. Magnify gesture view is basically required for maps and other type of text, or zooming in and out inside an image. That is the gesture view that is handled by the magnifying gesture view. So here I'm adding a variable with the name zoom, and a scale effect is performed according to this variable value zoom. And next I'm going to add a gesture in the property of dot gesture with the name of magnify zoom gesture. And here I'm using its event, which is dot updating, which means that while we are magnifying, zooming in and out, what is going to happen? So first that value will be added inside the zoom variable. So these are all of the values that are accessible inside this completion handler of updating value, gesture, state, and transaction. So we have passed the gesture state, the value of magnification. Now here we are seeing an error. Let's see what this error says. So basically this is the issue. Our zoom should be a gesture state and not a state. So we need to change the name of the macro that is being used on line number 65. So this is all of the errors are fixed, and this is our final magnify gesture view. So add the brackets here and let's play the code. So this is a code that I have added here. So you are going to use that option plus command key to zoom in and out to play it on the simulator. So you can see here that the image is being zoomed in and out according to our basically option and command plus mouse zooming. So rotate gesture view is going to be our last gesture that we are going to handle inside this view. And this is basically the rotate gesture. So here I'm adding an angle. The name tells the complete story is basically that it is a gesture that is going to basically help us rotate a certain object. So we are adding here a rectangle with a frame width and height. And next we are going to basically add a rotation effect, which will be according to the angle that we have created on line number 79. And now the gesture is added, which is basically our rotation gesture. And here we are basically passing the code inside on changed event. So whenever the rotation is going to be changed, what we are going to do is get the value and pass that value inside our angle variable, the rotation of that value. So there is a small error on line number 79. We have missed the keyword var. So we need to declare the angle as a let or var variable. So now when I am pressing the option plus command button outside this rectangle, it is not rotating. So you need to rotate it inside this, the boundary of this rectangle. So it is being rotated. So this is all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and do not forget to like and share this video, subscribe to my channel. In UIKit, there are multiple touch events, but we are only able to access the touch up inside event inside SwiftUI. And next we are going to discuss the combined gestures, which will include the simultaneous gestures as well with a practical example. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.